All right, here we go. What's up, everyone? It is another edition of the Tactical Agent Podcast, and today things start to get real. If the first 51 episodes didn't captivate your mind and your lives, well, strap in because 52 and on, it's getting crazy around here. If you are a newer agent, especially, or if you are responsible for mentoring or helping new agents along, this will be the episode for you because we are going to give our one piece of advice each to what we would tell a brand new agent. If you could only tell them one thing, that's what we're going to get into today. As soon as we introduce a new voice to the channel, to the family, the Tactical Agents family. Danny, what's up, dude?
What is going on, man? I am ready to go. I'm excited about
You look
this.
ready to go.
I'm always ready.
I gotta say, do you have hair under your hat?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm not.
Well, I mean,
I'm not following the trend. Sorry.
No, you're not. No, you're not. It's so I guess we'll be jealous of you for the time being, at least. I'm Mike. That's Danny. This is Chris. You're used to me and Chris, and we have the Tactical Agents podcast, YouTube channel. You can find it on Spotify, Apple, all the places, and our growing Facebook community of Tactical Agents. Guess what, guys? We sell you absolutely nothing. There's no course, there's no webinar, there's no nothing. It's all free because we believe that we can get what we want if we help enough people get what they want. This is what we believe. So we're living it out. Tacticalagents.com. You just register there and you get access to all the things, the Tactical Agent Academy, the book, the community, whatever. It's all there. Come get it. Grow with us. That's the commercial. Danny, tell us a little bit about your background, like before real estate, like Danny BC, and then Danny IR in real estate. Like give us the little overview.
Gotcha. Was in the Marine Corps from 2012 to 2019. Got into real estate in 2016. Initially was with a luxury broker. But then we went with our own brand, Romeo Echo, and now we're merged with Real Broker. Before getting into real estate, I mean, being in the Marine Corps is something different. I was in active and reserves, kind of like going back and forth a little bit, being able to go on small deployments here and there. But yeah, it was fun. Got to blow some stuff up and get paid for it. Yeah, I had some odd jobs here and there while I was in the reserves as well, but never got into the sales game until I got into real estate full time. And yeah, doing what we do well since then.
I love it. So that's it right now. It's just basically your real estate business, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Got a family?
Yeah, I got a wife, 3-year-old, and we got one on the way. We got a little boy on the way.
Awesome.
I dig it.
We're excited.
Well, we're gonna have fun making some content. I love it.
All right,
guys. So, man, when me and Chris, what year did you start real estate? 2015.
Yeah.
And then I got in the game in 2018, and then you had more experience building a team initially. Like you were part of being a team leader over what 40, 50 agents or something like that.
Yeah.
So you were doing that long before me. So we're going to defer to your age and experience here in the real estate world. One piece of advice, that hopeful real estate agent just got licensed, sits down across from you and is like, you got one shot to tell them one thing that they need to know in this business. What's your crack at the bat?
Trust the process. It's a long road. It is not easy. It's very simple. It's not easy, but you have to trust the process. You have to continue to do the work when you don't see any results, because those results come way down the road. And that would be probably the most important thing that I can tell a brand new agent, because everybody gets into real estate thinking they're going to make a lot of money really fast, and they're going to make that $100,000 because that's what they all want to make. And it's just, I would just try to impart with them, we've laid out this whole plan for you to be successful, but that plan is not instant success. So do the work. Don't look at the results. Keep your head down and make the. I'm throwing a bunch of one-liners out here.
Yeah,
Keep your
yeah. Like all of a sudden,
luck,
Chris is like, how has one thing become 17 things that you must know?
But it's all encompassed by this trusting the process, right? Just keep your head down, do the work, and ignore everything else. Don't worry about your paychecks. Just keep focusing on doing the things that are going to make you successful, and over time you will be.
That podcast is over. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
I appreciate you.
Don't need anything else. Well,
right, good luck following that, guys.
Well, let's for each of us, given that, I want to quickly kind of snap back and then answer, what do you think keeps people from that? What do you think is the biggest reason people don't trust the process? What do you guys have to say about that?
I think because it's not instant gratification. Like this isn't something where, like, now that you're in the industry, you're going to get a deal right out the bat. Your cousin's not going to call you. Your mom's not going to call you. Your dad's not, like, nobody purchases a home right there and then. So it's not instant gratification that a lot of people are used to. You post something on social media, you instantly get likes, you get comments, and then you get all this attention. When it comes to real estate, you're not going to get that. You're going to have it's the long game, like you said, and it's with the lack of instant gratification, you feel like you're not getting anything done. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree. I think for me, I would say the reason people don't trust the process is because they almost like they think that they know better, and maybe they're carrying their assumptions about how things work, about how business works, or about how real estate business works. And they carry those assumptions with them. And they're like, I know that you say trust the process, but I think really I probably know better. Like my way will probably work better than your way, even though I have no experience. My assumptions about how this works will be, just fine to get me through, probably. And so, yeah, in order to trust the process, people have to understand not instant gratification, right? Like you gotta be willing to play the long game and be teachable, right? Like drop your assumptions so that you can actually give yourself over to trust it. I mean, that's what trust is, right? Some form of like faith. Like I have to give all of my doubts and fears over to not the real estate gods, but in your case, Chris. I have to trust Chris and his process, or whatever. I like that. All right, Danny, what would your one piece of advice be?
So a lot of people go into this industry thinking that it's an individual sport, an individual effort. And one thing that I learned in the Marine Corps was that to complete a mission, it's not just the grunt going there and then completing that mission. It's a collective effort of the entire battalion, the entire company, whoever it may be, that's assigned to completing that mission. So it's a collective effort. And when it comes down to it, you would assume that this is an individual sport. It's like, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I'm the only one that's going to be knocking on doors and doing this, doing that. Initially, you're going to be doing a lot of that, but there's a lot of support that is going to be needed, a lot of collective effort that's going to be needed in order for you to service a client effectively. And a lot of people don't realize that you can have partnerships. You can go in this with a lot of people and still succeed. You don't have to be like, I'm worrying about my paycheck and it's all about what's going into my bank account. If you're able to fill up someone else's bank account and fill yours up at the same time, like that's a great thing. And I say that because the expectation is always for you to perform at a very high level. And that's the same thing with your time in the military. and I'm assuming being a police officer or a first responder. Like individually, you need to be really great at what you do, but you need the support of everyone else around you in order to complete whatever task that's right in front of you. And
unless you're
that's all
the dirty Harry of real estate, just do it all
exactly.
do it all your own.
But I think it's a great tip to have, because when it comes down to it, a lot of people will start getting business, and then they'll start to get overwhelmed, and they'll focus on the one escrow that's happening and that's blowing up, and that's giving them a hard time. And then it becomes a situation where, like, okay, where's my next deal? Oh, now you have to work just as hard to get the next deal, or even harder to get the next deal, because you're behind. And then you focus on that one, and then the whole cycle works all over again. So if you have that support, it's what's going to allow you to create a business rather than just another transaction.
Dude, that is, like, I was trying to think as you were talking, like, well, what would the pushback be? And I think you just hit it, where you're starting a business. I guess another aspect of this, like, it's not, I mean, compared to trying to do a build out on a brick and mortar, and, like, if you wanted to start a coffee shop, I mean, you're looking at a 6-figure process, and you've got to learn, you've got to shadow people, you've got a lot to learn if you want to start like a brick and mortar service business or whatever else. That's a lot. And I think it's deceiving in the real estate world, because the barrier to entry is so low that people can forget this is a business, right? And it's not just this short-term thing. And you're going to have to depend on others to help you. You're going to have to build a network and people around you to help everybody win.
And think of that coffee shop, like that. Even that person needs all the support in the world. They need suppliers. They need to have office space. So they need someone to manage the building that they're in. If they own the building, that's a different thing. They need employees. They need people to help them with advertising. They need to help have people to help them with the transaction process. Credit card processing. Everything in between with that. So it's a team effort. It's not going to be an individual sport the entire time. If it is, you're going to be getting out of the business pretty quick.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Anything to add to that, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just kind of ties back into what you were saying a few minutes ago about, going your own way. And especially when, with what we've done with the 10-7 project and stuff like that, working mostly with cops and veterans and first responders and all these people who really feel like they know best, right? It's an asset to be that way in those fields in some time, in some situations, but it can be a detriment here. And if you're not leaning on other people who have already been there and who have already done that and who have already cut the road you're trying to cut, you're going to put yourself at a pretty extreme disadvantage. And I think there's a lot of people that have that mentality that gets in their way and interrupts Danny's point as well as mine, because they just think, well, I'm a smart guy and I've watched a couple shows and I know what to do.
Yeah. That's good. All right, you stole mine, Danny, because mine was going to be collaborate, but I think that you hit on that. So
it's a better title.
Yeah. Behind that, for me, I would say, like, never stop investing in yourself, right? Like, you will always need mentorship. You should always have a coach. You should always be willing to view personal development and business development as a necessary cost of doing business. And I think once someone feels like they've arrived, that they figured it out, they have capped, they've reached their capacity of performance or income or wealth development, whatever. So I think a lot of people sell themselves short because they don't continue to invest in themselves and challenge themselves for, like, the next phase of growth. And so this sort of ties in with some of the things you're talking about, like trusting the process, working together, which is that, like, you may need to have a mentor that is co-agenting with you, or that you're paying to help teach you early on. That's why you get into the business, you're like, what is this split? 70-30, 50-50, 60-40? Like, why is that? Well, because it's a heavy lift to teach somebody, and you're paying a price to get invested in. And finding a coach, especially if you're in a situation where you're not on a real estate team or whatever else, and it's kind of up to you, you have to then go seek out that team. You have to go seek out that coach, somebody to invest in you, and then just never stop. Just always consider, kind of like you always have, milk and eggs in the fridge or whatever the staples are. You always have that. You should always be part of some type of coaching or mentorship that is pouring into you, fueling you, helping you grow. You guys agree, disagree?
That was actually going to be my alternative if somebody already said it. Yeah. Like, mentorship is necessary. And it ties into another phrase that I've come across with some of my personal mentors, aggressive patience. You're being, and that ties into what you said, Chris. You keep doing that hard work. Be aggressive with what you're doing, but be patient with whatever, like with what you're actually doing. You're building a business, as we've been saying. You got to be patient with it, but you have to also be aggressive. And being aggressive is investing in yourself, creating those critical relationships, and then doing that extra work that no one else is willing to do. And that is necessary in order to get you a step above that competition. And usually that competition is just yourself. That's what it really comes down to.
At least if you're smart.
Exactly. Yeah. You're your own limiter, and you don't know what you don't know when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think yours, and this is probably why it was going to be mine, number one, but yours, Danny, like that tops the list for me. Like, I relate to that really, really well, because it does kill all these birds with one stone. I will trust the process if I'm doing it with others that are like helping me, and I will be better if I invest in others and let them invest in me. Like, it's a win for everybody. And sometimes it's like going to the gym or exercising. You'll always, there's very, very few people that can, like, with no outside influence, like, maintain a level of discipline that's like, I'm getting up and doing it all by myself, like no one else, and I'll always be on. But if I said, hey, like, I'm putting my home gym together like right now, and so, but when I do, in our new house, I'm going to be like, listen, I'm going to invite guys at like 7 a.m. on the weekdays. Hey, who's coming? Right. I'll get up way early. I'll be ready because I know people are depending on me. It's like when you have a group of people around you pushing you and you can push them, so much of like the excuses just fly out the window. The slowness goes out the window because now you're in something together. And I think, especially for guys all like us from that military law enforcement background, like, we thrive in that kind of environment, and I think we can tap into that for our real estate business. I know that's helped us.
Competition is good. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's a healthy competition. It pushes you. It takes you to another realm of yourself that you don't really see possible. Some people take competition as something that's going to, like, basically it's like, oh, I'm not good as good as this person. I'm not good here. Like, good. Like that, you identify it and you get better in whatever realm that you want to get better at. It's not a thing where it's like, oh, this person is better than me, so I might as well not even try it. It's like, you got to change the mindset when it comes to pursuing what you want to pursue. If you want to get better at social media, start filming more videos, like, see what it is that's working for other people and try it, see if it works for you. Start to continue to evolve and better your craft. And it takes work. That's all it is.
It's terrible work. Ugh.
Yeah.
Don't start a business, guys, if you don't want to work. Well, what do you guys think? Like, I'd love to see, for those of you that watch on YouTube, and there's a comment section below, would love to hear, especially if you're an agent with some experience, What would your advice be? Drop that in the comments. Like, where do you agree or disagree with us, or what would you add or take away? Would love to hear that. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, be sure to hit like and follow and subscribe and whatever else, drop a rating, a review, but go to tacticalagents.com, get into the community, and then follow up in the Facebook group, and, you know, have conversations there, get to know other agents around the country, and yeah, be a part of trusting the process and collaborating together with all of us. And we'd love to see you win and maximize your potential in the business. And you don't have to be a traditional salesy douchebag to do it. You can do it the tactical way and build a business you can be proud of. All right. Well, also on YouTube, you get to see how ruggedly handsome Danny is compared to the rest of us. And so
dimples,
come on.
man, it's the dimples, the money right there. That's
Yeah.
the money makers.
Yeah. That's what I tell myself every morning. I smile, I look at the mirror, I'm like,
it's the only way we can compete with, you know, we really need to we need to find, you know, some tactical gun chick or something that's a real estate agent and get them on here, because now that,
hey, we're in different times now, man. I can get some surgery done. I'll get
you can be whatever we need you to be.
Yeah. I'll make it happen.
I love it.
My hair.
All right, guys. Well, we hope that you enjoy us adding more voices to the channel and to the podcast. We're excited about the future, and we hope you're there with us, and we'll talk to you next episode.